probably 2/3 of people with MS have some form of pain. When is pain important?
Well, it's a warning of something, like you said before. Heat, burning or something.
Yeah, it's a warning that something is burning. What else is pain for?
Stop you from over-injuring yourself.
Stops you from over-injuring yourself. You guys are pretty good. Something's either breaking or burning, and so it needs your immediate attention. After an injury, this happens a lot, especially after, for example, you break a leg, it feels good, and so you end up starting to do things over again before the leg has completely healed. And so your body will give you a little nudge, and you're like, oh, what was that? And it's just like a, will you hold off a minute? Let me finish what I was doing. And the one I've talked a lot about is pain can also be a message of your body saying no. And there's a great book I've recommended, When the Body Says No, by Gabor Mate. And he talks about how the body uses symptoms to psychologically say no. And what it's really doing is trying to keep you safe. And it's not the type of safe like burning and breaking. It's more the type of safe of overextending yourself. It's like you always saying yes to everything and not taking care of yourself. Not giving yourself enough time, enough sleep, enough attention. One way that you can find out, I put just here in the parentheses, if it's the body saying no, is ask yourself, why now? Why is this happening to me now? What's going on in my life that this is needing to show up? And why in this particular area of my body? What about this particular area of my body does my body want me to, pay attention to? What's going on here? Most times it's not about what you're doing, it's about how you're doing it. All right? One thing is doing a project. Another thing is like, it's got to be perfect, I've got to be the best, I've got to have the A++++. It's about hows. And if the body says, whoa, this is like way too much pressure, it will say no. Okay? When is it not relevant?
Never.
There's actually a few times, interesting enough, when it's not relevant. 20 years later. 20 years after picking up that couch for your neighbor, the pain in your back is no longer relevant. When I have a friend saying, oh, my back, yeah, it's because that couch when I was in my 20s, I'm like, BS, I'm sorry. I have a friend who broke every single bone in her leg, and 3 years later she couldn't remember if it was the left or the right. I'm sorry, it ain't the couch. There's something, okay? There's something else going on, and you should probably ignore the pain and actually figure out what else is going on, okay? Because that's old news. Sometimes my clients had quite a storm right before their MS began, right? It's like it was a perfect storm. The storm, if it's no longer happening, then that pain might just be old news. It's almost, your body's almost phobic to most things that are happening because it's like, I am not letting you get anywhere close to ever having a situation like that again, right? So then it becomes irrelevant. If you're like, I'm done, I'm retired, I'm never going to do that again, I don't need you to remind me, okay? And in the normal uses of that body part, it's not really relevant. And you'll learn about this, because interesting enough, your body signals pain all the time, but you don't perceive it, because it happens to be the normal use of the body part. And so your body just says, we don't need to send that up to the brain. Before we continue, warning. When a pain persists, you want to have a physician test for life-threatening illnesses and any kind of infection before doing something as powerful as hypnosis. Because someone might come and say, oh, I just want to get this, rid of this. And I'm like, great, okay, so what has your physician named it? Diagnosis is just a name for a group of symptoms, messages of the body. And if they say, oh, I'm just too afraid to go, I don't want to go, I just want to get rid of the pain, I will say no. Because if I got rid of the pain, what would happen?
There might be something else going on.
Cause is still there.
Yeah, the cause is still there. Because it doesn't hurt, they don't have to go to the doctors. They can continue to ignore it. So I say, you go, and then that same day, he gives it a little diagnosis, we work on it. But I need to know that you're safe. And that your body isn't communicating a break. Or, cells from a tumor that are compressing nerve cells. Also, it's really great to inform your physician. Because if he knows, he can also keep his eye on you in lowering medications if it's working.
So inform your doctor, like you're going to have to hypnosis done for the pain?
You can inform your doctor in your meeting, yes, that you are using hypnosis to help with symptoms. And a lot of times I will actually do a letter, and if he's on board as well, then we will just have him track as well. So I'll say, hey, 3 months in, this is what's happening with all their pain, and he'll say, hey, maybe we can wean you off a couple stuff. It's good to have them on board. What pain is and what pain isn't. Some people with MS have issues in the extremities, right? And numbness or pain. That area isn't numb or pained. What's happening is there's these cells, peripheral cells called nociceptor cells. They're actually everywhere. They're even in the brain. These little cells are interpreting what's happening in their little area. They're like in charge of an area. And if they perceive what's called a strong stimuli that might be causing tissue damage, they send a signal to the brain. They send a message up so the brain gets, ooh, that's something down there. I'm going to call it pain, which means pay attention. Okay? The thing with these nociceptor cells is when you have any kind of lesion in the nervous system, these cells that are around those lesions, many times they get a bit nervous still, even if the lesion's been there forever and you're like, it's not even active, it's like a scar. Does anybody have scars from when they're kids? Does it hurt? Is it causing problems? No, that scar doesn't have to be causing problems, but the nociceptive cells around it are still calling wolf. Think of it as like, and so they are sending messages when it's not really needed. When nerve cells are damaged, nociceptors in the region can become hypersensitive. Sound like anybody? Hypersensitive to touch. And may misfire repeatedly. It doesn't mean anything about the nerve cell. It is the nociceptor cells nearby. It says this causes two sensations, interesting enough. Ongoing pain and numbness. Many times in the same area. Sound like anybody? Both of these sensations no longer give brain useful information about a current injury or a danger. Okay? So these guys fire. They fire the message, and it comes up to what's called a gateway right before the central nervous system. It's a gate. Interesting enough, the gate can only pull into the central nervous system one sensation at a time. Give you a little hint of what you can actually do here. Non-painful input, this is all technical, non-painful input, however, will close the gate to painful input, which prevents pain sensations from traveling into the central nervous system. This is called the gate control theory. Have you ever had a nurse give you a shot, and the minute she gives you a shot, she presses up against it? She's giving you another sensation so that the pain message can't go through the gate. So when you have a pain, one way you can prevent it from going through the gate and up into the brain, and your brain is telling you, pain down there, because the pain is not down there, it's here. And here it's locating kind of where in the body it is. Interesting enough, they did some studies that if you closed your eyes and kind of got in touch with your pain, if you were not allowed to use your hands, you couldn't locate the exact spot of the pain. Because it's not there, it's here. So that gives you a clue of one of the things you can do. Once the message, single message, enters the central nervous system, it gets picked up by another set of nerve cells called the interneurons. Now, the interneurons are specialized nerve cells, and they actually act as switches. And they decide, when they receive the message, they actually decide if this is urgent and has to go into the brain, or if this is just a normal body function. And they ignore it. They say, no. When does this happen? When the message of pain is coming in, but at the same time, there's safety and there's pleasantness combined. You know how when you're having a ball or you're doing your garden and you're really concentrating, you have a great time, or you're in the gym, but it's like a good day, you're in that class, and then the next day you're like, what did I do? You didn't feel that going on when it was happening? Those little micro tears of your muscles? Sometimes, yes, in yoga class you're like, but sometimes you're having a great time, and the next day you're like, wow, I must have thrown that ball too many times. Because you didn't feel it then, because the central nervous system, the cells there went, he's having a ball. This is just normal body functions. We don't need to inform the brain. It is not urgent. And it will just switch it off. Conclusion, and I'm going to post some of these studies on the webpage, is a person who is happy or focused on something pleasant may feel no pain at all from stimuli that are apparently quite painful. And this might have happened probably to you as well as a kid. It's like your stomach hurt, but then you started watching the Walt Disney movie, and your mom comes in and is like, what's with your stomach hurting? And you're like, oh yeah, it does hurt. She goes, no, it only hurts because I told you. No, it only hurts exactly because I was focused on something fun and pleasant. The central nervous system literally did not send those messages up to the brain. All right, it's another clue. Later we'll do a summary of all these. So once it goes up through the central nervous system, slower pain, such as what happens with MS and any chronic pains, will go through the limbic system structure. Why is this important? What happens before it gets to your brain? Do you think your emotions have any influence on your pain levels? If it's an immediate pain, like a burn or a fire, your body actually just doesn't even go through there. It just shoots up, and that's when you're like, oh, what happened? Oh, and then you're like, oh, I just got shocked by the plug. But any other pain, you hit your head, you have these nociceptors going a little crazy, it goes through here, and from here, it gets distributed to a whole bunch of places.
So is it the limbic system part of the brain, or is it actually the hormones and other chemistries in your body that's part of the limbic system?
It's right smack in the middle.
Okay, so it's the brain neurons.
It's right smack in the middle. So, conclusion, please take note. Your emotions will override positively or negatively your perception of pain. There's actually someone was telling me a story of, you might have seen it, National Geographic. Have you seen those, like Aborigines? They're getting their tongue pierced. They're not like, holding on or hold on to this, or they're just emotionally, they're like, yeah, this is part of manhood. They have no issues with it. It's just a sensation. It's
Is
not
that
a
like tattoos?
pain. Oh, pain. Yeah. Yeah, that's another one. All right. So that's our brain. What's happening? It's going through the nociceptive nerve. Remember, it goes to the gate, one sensation at a time. Goes up central nervous system. If the central nervous system says, yeah, this looks serious, sounds serious, it sends it into the thalamus. And from there, the limbic system, this whole area is your emotions. If it's terror, amygdala, you don't even know what's happening, right? But if it's not, all your other chronic numbness and pain and stuff go to 4 different areas in your brain. What we want to know is this. It goes into the area of your brain which is called affective, so it's your mood and your emotions. It goes into your frontal cortex, evaluation. This is bad, really bad. This is just going to get worse. You're evaluating it, and you're going to respond to that. And it goes into your sensory, somatosensory cortex. That's the place that tells you, oh, that's the area I'm feeling. Oh, this is a toe thing. My toe. There's something wrong with my toe. But the message is here. It's not in the toe. But in the location area proximate to the toe, there's somebody who's calling wolf. One other caveat that happens. Just like the nociceptive, that nerve kind of starts crying wolf and then it doesn't know how to stop crying wolf sometimes. What happens with long-lasting or intensive pain, so think of that message going and going and going and going, is your brain kind of learns to be aware of this pain. And so it becomes highly sensitive. And this will happen with IBS. Someone with IBS, our regular stomach, when we digest, if you put a microphone here, it is loud. It is like this huge machine that's moving and gargling and crushing and taking apart. And it's quite impressive. None of us feel it because our central nervous system is like, not information you need to know about. You just focus on the conversation, right? But if it's been going on and both your emotions and your focus is starting to go, is there something wrong there? And this is both you consciously and unconsciously, your body will actually be more focused on it. So I want you guys to do an experiment. I want you to focus on your shirt. Focus on the sensation of your shirt on your shoulders. Imagine if for the rest of this, little presentation, you were to be focusing on your shoulders and the sensation of your shirt. That would be annoying, yes? But if you were concerned about your shoulders, if, for example, you had a sunburn, and you had a lot of sunburns, because all summer you were playing volleyball, you would probably be continuously kind of focused on your shirt and your shoulders, right? Because you'd be like, oh, maybe this isn't a good shirt. I shouldn't have worn this. What am I doing? I'm learning to focus on any sensations of my shoulder. And it gets to the point that I am constantly aware of the sensation of my shirt on my shoulders. Your conscious mind can really only focus on about 7 bits, like up to 9, maybe down to 5 to 9, right? Right in that area, bits of information. Your unconscious mind that focuses on billions of bits of information, it's focusing on the temperature of this room. If you're doing anything or not, to know what heart rate, right? It's focusing on tons of stuff. But your conscious mind is focusing on about 7. So if you have actually told yourself, or if you've actually gotten yourself used to focusing that your shirt isn't making your sunburn worse, your unconscious is going to continuously send you information about the sensation of your shoulders. And one of those 7 bits are going to become the shoulder bit. One of those 7 bits are going to become the numbness, the foot burn. Because you are focusing, and so your subconscious is saying, oh, he wants to know about that. All right, every 3 minutes give him information. And so then you become oversensitive. I would almost say you just become focused, right? Another thing that happens is that by having this loop, especially when it's very long-lasting pain, having these messages continuously being sent to the brain, your brain actually continues to have activity, these messages, in the area of the somatosensory cortex, which is the area of the brain that registers, kinesthetic is feeling, sensations you believed occurred in what part of the body. So it will actually continue, and there's PET scans that can show you this, that when something is chronic, long-lasting, or it was really intense, have anyone here heard of phantom limb pain? It ain't the limb. It's this little area of your brain keeps firing because this area, interesting enough, also has nociceptors. And so these guys are playing wolf also. If you are worried about it, does it help? So, why did I say this whole thing? Because you can influence the perception you have of anything that's going on in your body. By your thoughts, remember, how you evaluate it, by focusing on the sensory. This is something in hypnosis we do a lot. We take that sensory and we say, oh, what does it feel like? What does it feel like now? And now, what if you changed it color? And we start making little changes and you're like, oh, that red pulsating is now like a feather that's pink. Really? You can make small changes and then your mood will also change. So this is our menu. How to relieve pain. Again, the caveat. You've checked. You know that you're safe. It's nothing more serious. And you know the pain isn't relevant. So it's not a physical tear. It's not the body trying to finish healing. And it doesn't have meaning. So, no, do not fear it. You fear it, it actually gets worse. I'm going to read something to you. And I'll put these studies on the webpage, healingmultiplesclerosis.com. Recent studies using MRI scans show that a mere expectation of pain produces 40% of the response in the brain produced by real pain. And this is a psychological study. Showed that pain-related anxiety, or any exposure to something that you fear, fear situation that maybe would have had caused pain before, like you fell down a staircase and you see the staircase, may actually accentuate the pain experience. So just being anxious about the pain makes it so much worse. Think again about shots, right? If you're at the doctor's and you're like, oh God, is it going to hurt? Right? It will actually hurt a lot more. And another study, this is why this one is so important, fearful patients appear to attend more to signals of threat, remember that shoulder thing, and to be less able to ignore pain-related information. If I'm worried about something, my mind's going to be, oh, she wants to think about that. Okay. Sending that information. So do not fear it. Focus on other sensations, right? Or create another sensation. Remember the gate control. Preferably pleasant. That's why when something really hurts, you put cold pack. If you focus on the feeling of the cold pack, that's what's going up your central nervous system, the feeling of the cold pack. Let's do some brain training. Let your body know, let your brain know especially, that it's not relevant. It's just normal body processes, and it's old news. Okay? If you say, there is a wolf, your brain says, there is a wolf, and it keeps going. If you feel that and you know it's been there from 7 years and you're like, irrelevant. For the women in this room, are bras comfortable? No. But until I said that, were you experiencing how uncomfortable they were? No. Why? Because it's really not relevant to being here. The same with a lot of stuff that's going on in your body. And the more you tell your brain, this is not relevant, the less it sends you that message. Watch for your interpretation. Remember, Aborigines have no problem with putting humongous needles in their tongue. I would probably faint, right? But it's not because of the needle, it's my interpretation. I don't like getting pierced in those ways. So watch how you are interpreting that pain. If you are a victim, if you're suffering, if this happened to me, all of those things, your brain is going, and your nociceptive cells are going to react to it. You know, think of two doctors. If one doctor's like, you're okay, don't worry, just hold it, what are you like? But if someone comes with authority and says, you'll be fine, just stay focused, you'll be fine, this will be gone in no time, don't worry about it, we have it taken care of, this is under control. How are you? How's your body? Right? Stop expecting it to be there. I know many doctors said you're going to have to live with it. The message doesn't have to get to the brain though. And interesting enough, remember the sensation of pain and the amplification of pain that we just mentioned might only be occurring in the brain, no longer in that area of your body. So just because it's getting worse, if your doctor says there's nothing active here, it's probably just the loop. So once again, apply these pieces. Right? So what ideas do you guys have that you could start applying now? What things occur to you to start doing for yourself? How are you going to talk to yourself about the pains and the numbs and the...
Oh, one of my favorite
Be nicer. That would be good. Those poor sheep are just a little scared. It's okay. It's fine. We're doing good.
To kind of wrap everything up, like just to dumb it down, but one of my favorite phrases is pain is just mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Which I'd actually heard a while before I was diagnosed, but I mean, like, you know,
If
like a little
you
kid
don't
falls and
mind.
gets hurt and you change their mind to something else and they completely forgot that they bumped their knee or leg or whatever. You know, I mean, we're just bigger kids now. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
focus on the
same
happy and the
concept.
pleasant, and it doesn't get sent up anymore.
Yeah, no, I think it's tricky though, because right, one of the standard approaches is like, I'm just going to ignore it and not be the problem because I ignore the important stuff.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, I need to not just ignore it, and so that's kind of that balance.
Yeah, that's why. Check in. Are you safe, and is it relevant?
Yeah.
My body is telling me something.
Yeah.
Once I know what it is, because, and I've said this before, the body doesn't have words. The only way it can communicate is like a pantomime. It communicates with symptoms. And so it's like, instead of going, you know, think of a 2-year-old pulling at your pant leg. If you ignore it, what happens? Does the 2-year-old go away and settle down?
Hands fall off.
Yes. You're like, okay, wait. No. It wants to be heard. But once it's heard, even if you don't 100% understand it, you know, okay, there's something here. Once it gets heard, it's off to go play in the playground, right? Same thing. Ah, interesting. What could this be about? Why me, why now, why this? What is this telling me? Is there anything it's trying to say no about? You don't need to have the message after you've gotten it.
Yeah, I think your example that you gave earlier of like, you know, the writing every day was really helpful, but if she didn't do that, then it came back again. And so she could have been like, oh, it's irrelevant, because it's old news, but it actually was not taking care of yourself, so.
Yes. The body was saying, no, you're not here to like respond to everybody else. You're here to take care of this little guy. First and foremost. Then you can respond. Teachers are not more important than your health.
I'm just
Okay.
wondering how you tell the difference though. You know, it's like she was saying about, you spend years just kind of ignoring it. You know, then the difference between when is it relevant and when is it just an interpretation.
Well, first, if your doctor's already said physically it's functional, it means it's no longer, there's no new lesion, there's no tear, there's something. Then working on the psychological, am I overdoing it? Am I pushing myself? Did I say yes to a whole bunch of things? Am I trying to make her happy to the detriment of my own needs? Well, all those little pieces that we've talked about. And we'll keep going.
So if I have no new lesions in my brain,
Yeah.
then when my toes curl up and stay frozen like that, then that's something that I'm focusing on because of something else in my life. Okay, this is a lot to take in.
It is. Fortunately, yes.
So if you don't have any, your doctor's giving you the thumbs up, like, when should you pay that pain, like, some respect and take a nap, and, like, when should you be pushing yourself?
I would take out the word push.
I wouldn't push myself at all.
I would take out the word push. That might be, this is a generalization. People that experience, and MS is not a thing, you don't have it, you experience it. People that experience symptoms of MS tend to be A-type personalities that push themselves, try to be perfect, want to be successful, almost like an internal competitiveness. They're going to see me. And so the pushing is part of why the body's saying no. It's saying you only answer to yourself, and you pace yourself, and you do things for your own benefit, learning, enjoyment, etc., etc. So pushing isn't a good word. However, I'll give you an example. One woman that was working with me, she was doing pretty good work. Her leg pain was pretty much gone. And so at first, the leg pain went away because every morning after dropping her kids to school, she would park her car next to a beach, and she would just do about a block, just walk and just be grateful and have that self-time to think, to figure out her day, probably kind of to the writing. It was going really good, no more pains. So then she started doing a block and a half. Good. Then she started doing 2, 3, 4. She comes limping. It's like, what happened? I don't know. What's different? Well, I was feeling good, so I decided to do 4 blocks a day. With your body, have you continued to do that wonderful, grateful? No, I've got this Fitbit. It wasn't about enjoying anymore. It wasn't about having that time to kind of fit things and figure things out and just me time. It became one more thing on her to-do list to get it done and go do something else, and she did 4 blocks of it. I'm not experiencing MS, and I don't know that my body would be very happy with 4 blocks either. Okay, so does that give you a little bit of vocabulary what it might be going on?
It's funny. I mean, it's not funny, but I sort of resemble the remarks.
Yeah. So yeah, you go, why me, why now, and why write this? Once you've attended to that, take off the pedal, the accelerator. You don't need the messenger anymore.
I remember, it's only been 3 months, so it hasn't been that long, but one of the things that was my biggest fear is how much I didn't want MS to be completely my identity, and so much of my identity was caught up in, my accomplishments, and so that's the piece that I've been really trying to adjust over time and kind of find that balance where I want to do meaningful work and yet at the same time make sure to take care of myself.
Yep, you cannot have one without the other.
Being selfish is a good thing too.
Yes.
It's something that I kind of learned, you gotta take care of number one first before you save the world.
A lot of messages I get in hypnosis, you are not the sacrifice. You do the work you want to do in life. But do not forget, you are not the sacrifice. Do something, you give your body that rest because bodies need to go into parasympathetic or they can't, Youthful people don't sleep 4 hours a day. You need hours of sleep and you need certain, circadian rhythms. I went to a lecture yesterday, they talked about the rhythms. Our bodies have rhythms. If we take care of those, we function very well. So in hypnosis, we also take all that in. And so in hypnosis, we would have you focus on other sensations that are pleasant. Gate control. Ask the unconscious, and we'll do this in hypnosis, ask the unconscious to ignore irrelevant messages that are not appropriate and remove the fear of pain and help you feel safe and positive. Remember, if you're safe and positive, central nervous system, oh, this is normal body stuff. She's doing fine. And we'll send it up. Any other questions?
Yeah.
What would you say, like in terms of spasms or pain and stuff like that? How would you suggest focusing on that? Because they come and go and seem to have no control over when they do and when they don't.
I didn't put a drawing here, but what happens is your nociceptive cells decide, oh, there's something wrong in this area. Must be something broken, even if it's been there for 20 years. It goes up to the central nervous system, goes to the brain, gets interpreted, comes back down, and jerks your muscle to get it away from the thing. So, as an interpretation, the jerking is you don't receive the sensation of the pain, you just get to experience the jerking. So your body's reacting to a message, but you just don't experience the sensation. The message going in, you experience the conclusion. So think about those same things. What's happening now? Why is my body overreacting? I don't need to fear this. I don't need to pay too much attention to this. I maybe need to close the gate on this. Even if it's cold packs, which make, you're like, why would I put a cold pack on this? It's a different sensation.
What I've noticed kind of fairly recently is that when I sleep pretty hard. And I don't move much at all. And then I wake up, and just as a normal thing that you do with your body is you stretch a little bit. And since I've noticed through my MS is that if I stretch, things tighten really tight. And so whenever I get a tightness or a cramp, I jump out of bed and go, oh my gosh, I have to stretch this out. And then, my husband's like, oh my God, and things are, woo, like, what's going on? And so what I've done, I just sort of came across this a couple months ago, was that I wake up and I kind of start to stretch, and it's just sort of a natural thing. And then all of a sudden I tighten, and then I tell myself, you need to relax. And then all of a sudden, the tightening goes away. And it's just really weird. I mean, it's like, yeah, my brain just told myself, relax, it's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's old story.
Yeah, and then it just loosens. I was like, wow.
Good story.
Good thing. So I don't, and I would kind of fear, when I would, stretch, I'm like, oh my gosh, things are going to tighten or something like that. But then I realized, okay, this is normal. This just sort of happens, and just move a little bit, but don't stretch, because that's not working for you right now.
All right, so a break.